The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the ECAT staff or board of directors.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. It's the Ron Van Dam Show.
Hold on tight, things can get a bit weird, if you like that sort of thing.
Hey, welcome to the program. Come into my arms. It's the Ron Van Dam Show. You're probably saying, well, what the hell is this? What are you doing? What are you doing there? You selling real estate? What are you doing? Are you a slip and fall attorney? What are you doing there? No, I'm not. I'm just a guy. I've been doing, I know you've heard this before, I've been doing radio for now almost 34 years, and television, and now radio for a long decade thing. Used to do a morning show in the Boston area. You may be familiar with it. Used to do a television show called Another Night. All that stuff. And now we're doing syndicated radio and the podcast thing, whatever that is. And that's it. And I do this every single weekday. You can listen to me on your audio abode. And that's found at newenglandbroadcasting.com or ronvandam.com or any one of those platforms like the Amazon Music, the thing with Alexa thing, Apple Podcasts, whatever, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, SoundClone, the things with the Stitchers in them, and the Pandora music thing, and just all of them. We're flooding the media airwaves with this ridiculous notion. So thanks for being here. I, just like you, am a human being, and I don't understand something, and maybe I don't understand you if you're one of these people, quote unquote. Here's the thing. I'm watching TV last night. I'm a vid kid. Since I was a child, I watched television all the time. I watched every television show that I could possibly watch. And so I watch a lot of television. And now, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. Yeah, I like rules and regulations when they keep things nice and peaceful amongst all of us so that we're all happy. If you want to do outlandish things, do them in your own place, but don't spread them to the public. Here's my problem. Sat down last night to watch network television. By the way, kids, networks are those things they used to have on TV where you didn't have to pay for TV. They had little commercials and stuff. You don't know what they are. Anyway, ABC, CBS, NBC, and then Fox came along and said, hey, let's make this a political state television. So I don't know, whatever the hell's going on. So anyway, so I'm watching the networks, and on ABC at 8 o'clock, there's a show called Will Trent. Are you familiar with it? I can't, don't answer. I can't hear you. They start off the show where this lady's walking down the street. All of a sudden, you see one of those target things, like you're looking through a scope on a rifle, and it's pointed at the back of her head, and all of a sudden the shot rings out, blood spurts out of the back of her head, and she falls down. 8 o'clock at night! 8 o'clock at night on a network TV show. What's going on? It really pissed me off, and I didn't watch the rest of the show. On CBS, after that, I think it's CBS, they have an FBI show. It's called FBI something. I don't know what it is. And again, beginning of the show, there are two cops walking down the street. I guess they're both detectives. And they're talking. All of a sudden, one of them just keels over, falls to the pavement, and there's blood all over the pavement. What the hell's that about? Why are you doing this at 8 o'clock at night? At 9 o'clock, which is a bit more acceptable, but still absolutely ridiculous, because kids are up during this time, especially when there's no school. It's FBI International. Now we're going to watch people being killed internationally. I mean, you would assume, well, in other countries, they don't allow guns like they do in the United States, where you can have a gun anytime you want. for the ability to shoot people just whenever you feel it. But in other countries, you can't do that. You can't possess a gun at all. And yet, beginning of the show, FBI International, all of a sudden, guy's in his house, these two people break in, two guys, one of them has a gun, points it at this guy's head, at the homeowner's head, and he's shaking in his boots, and all of a sudden you see the other guy walking into the room with the guy's wife and infant son, which is apparently like 1 or 2 years old, with a gun to their head, and they're threatening this guy to do something that they want him to do. This is on FBI International. I mean, what kind of angst and frustration and drama are you trying to... I mean, what, God. And then one of the guys takes the infant and the mother and pulls them out of the room physically, and the other guy he's shaking in his boot, and then the credits come up. FBI International, whatever the theme song is. What's going on? Now, of course, I'm being overdramatic by holding my hands up to my head like this frustrates me to no end. Well, it does, but I mean, basically, I just shouldn't watch those shows, that's all. But I don't understand why in this country, and I guess in others, why are we so obsessed with violence? And yet when we see it for real, it'll change your life, it'll terrify you. You'll have to see some type of therapist for the rest of your life if you can even talk anymore or even exist because of the horrendous amount of violence you've just been exposed to. But on television, it's entertainment. Yay. Oh, look, he got shot. I wonder who did it. Ooh, I wonder. I don't understand it. I was talking to an author today on the radio show they did earlier today, and quite an accomplished author, and she wrote a book about scary places and stuff. And we're talking, and I said to her, what is with violence? Why is that the major mode of entertainment? Somebody gets killed, and then we have to figure out who did it. But the killing is just it's not like in the old days or with Hitchcock, where you just saw all of a sudden, the screen would go black and you'd hear a shot ring out. You didn't have to watch these people being having their throats cut and blood spurting out of on the wall. I mean, what do we do? Why is that entertaining? Why is that entertaining? So I'm speaking to this author about that, and she doesn't know why. She has her theories, but besides the point. And she said, but the one thing that and I told her last night, I see all the shows, someone's getting killed immediately, graphically. And I said, I said it to her. And she says, I agree with you, Ron. She calls me Ron. She said, but the one thing that I cannot tolerate watching is violence to pets or to children. Oh, but adults is fine. Isn't it weird how we have more sensitivity toward our pets than we do toward human beings? Do you know why? Because we've desensitized ourselves. When we watch the news, what are the big news items? Murders. People in horrifically strange accidents where a truck what's going on? Why are we so fascinated by violence and by horrible things? We're drawn to them. It's that old rubbernecking kind of thing where you're driving down the highway and the traffic's backed up and you see police car lights and flashing lights in the distance. You go, oh, there must have been an auto accident. There must have been something really, really bad. That looks like wow. And you sit in traffic for 15 minutes and you finally get up to the spot where the accident took place. And that's where everybody's really slowing down. Yeah, sure, you have to merge into 2 lanes instead of 3 or 3 lanes into 1, whatever the case may be. That's causing traffic. But the main traffic is people slowing down. Ooh, how horrible was it? How horrible is this? And you see a car overturned, and you go, oh boy, that's what are we doing? What are we doing? What's going on with the human race? And it's not just now. I mean, I know my history to some extent, although half the time I don't care what happened in the past. I mean, some horrible things have happened in the past. I don't need to be reminded of it continually. There have been some horrendous times in history, horrendous times. I'm not going to get into some of them because they are incredibly horrendous and unbelievable. I remember, and I don't remember, I wasn't around then, I'm not that old. The gladiators and stuff, and they used to kill each other in arenas, and that was entertainment. Even bullfighting. Now, I think most of us couldn't watch bullfighting anymore because there are animals involved. Of course, you don't have a bull as a pet. You don't like you're not calling down from the kitchen, calling your bull down to dinner. Come on, Spot the bull. I've got your raw carcass in your bull bowl. We don't have bulls as pets. We eat them, but we don't have them as pets. So bullfighting is just awful. You know that running of the bulls thing where the mindless idiots in Spain, they go running down the street being chased by bulls, and every once in a while one of the people running from the bulls will get gorged by the bull, or maybe even killed by them. And to me, now that's worth watching. To see an animal get back at a person who is being the most incredibly odd, macho piece of dirt you could possibly be, and I hope I'm not insulting you, getting their adrenaline up and showing everybody just how macho they are. I'm going to have a bull chase me, and I'm going to outrun the bull. Okay, I guess that's entertainment now. I used to watch boxing. I used to like it for some reason. That Michael Buffer guy, let's get rid of Rumbo. I would live for that. And my spouse there would say constantly, my lovely, adorable spouse would say constantly, Ron, how can you watch boxing, two men basically like killing each other? And I said, because they chose to do it. That's what they do. It's not like they were forced in to win a bet or anything, or it wasn't like part of a deal like Sophie's Choice. I mean, they trained for it. They know it's coming up, and they want to beat the crap out of somebody, and they know that they could get the crap beat out of them, and that's that. With concussions and all that kind of stuff that goes with boxing and being knocked out on the floor to the point where you could be dead. I don't know. But they go into it like that. And then Ron, you watch football every once in a while, and they're knocking each other down. And these people, they're great until they're 30, 35, and then they spend the rest of their life in pain with operations. So I know that's their choice. They wanted the money, and they're doing this. That's fine. I don't care. But then I decided, but I shouldn't be watching that. Do I find that entertaining? Not really. No, I don't. I don't find boxing entertainment at all entertaining, not in the least. So I don't watch that anymore. Football every once in a while because they're wearing equipment. But boxers in the ring, come on, screw me up. Come on. Here's my face. Do something to it. Disfigure it. Come on. Your choice, but I don't want to watch that. And I don't want to watch people being killed at the beginning of a television show, or children being dragged away by gangsters with guns pointed at an infant's head. I don't understand the fact. I'm not fascinated by it. I don't find that to be fun. Let's bring it into a deeper category, shall we? Let's talk about horror movies. Ooh, around Thanksgiving. Although Thanksgiving can be a horror depending on your relatives. I mean, Halloween. I do this every year at Halloween. I say, well, what? Why the fascination? Because that's even worse. Those are movies about people being decapitated, swords going right through their bodies, hands being chopped off. I mean, why? Some of these movies are simply torture films. Graphic torture films We know they're not real. And when we watch them, we go, ooh, and oh, I'll never be able to sleep again. But I love this. What is it? What is it about these extremely graphic killings and agonizing perils that we find to be entertainment? I may be an old softy, although I've had my physical rumblings in the past, but I enjoyed the Hallmark movies. Yeah. Ron, what are you, a wuss? No, because these are love stories. I'm not going to go, although some people, oh, look at that love story. Oh my God, that's horrific. I know there's some people like that. But basically, they're social stories. And no one's getting hurt, and I can relax because now I can enjoy things without being scared out of my wits or disgusted. When I go to the movies now, sometimes I'll go to the movies where there's the big screen and other people. I don't like to go to movies with other people. It's kind of a problem because movie theaters, by nature, want other people in there, but I don't. But I go every once in a while. And all of a sudden, there'll be this graphic stuff going on the screen. And now it's on a gigantic screen. I've got nowhere else to look. I can't hear anything but that. People screaming and shouting and gunshots. I don't know. I don't understand it. Why am I sitting here being exposed to this? Didn't they do this at a point for torture purposes? To torture the human being to have to sit through this? Okay, I'll talk. Just stop showing me these movies. I'll talk. That's where I'm at with that stuff. Maybe it's time for you to examine yourself. Why do you like that stuff? What fascinates you about that? Well, Ron, it's not real. Well, it's made to look real as possible can be. Why does that entertain you? What about violence and people in extreme, horrible situations? What is entertaining about that? To the point where you'll sit back in a comfortable chair, watch all this blood and guts while you're eating popcorn and sipping on a Coke. Why? What's that about? What's going on? Think about it. And think about how you're raising your children. Because there we do have rules and regulations. But now a restricted film, rated R, that's like that's like an X film. GP, PG, whatever, dyslexic kind of rating. PG. Kids shouldn't be watching that. Just because they're sitting there with you, that makes it better? No. What you're doing is you're setting them up for a life of finding these things entertaining. And they're not. We're human beings, and I know that violence is born within us. It's how we live our lives, with violence and retribution and anger and all that kind of stuff. As I said on last week's show, this country should be in anger management. So should the president of this country. But not so. It's not what we do. Okay. That's the first thing. The second thing I wanted to talk about today, many of the towns and cities in Massachusetts, that is the state, right? Yeah, it is. Many of the towns and cities are now suffering financially without being able to make ends meet budget-wise and expenditure-wise. And I will tell you something that is controversial. You may not like this. Don't contact me because I don't care to be contacted in that sense. But I will tell you, you got to cut back a little bit on staffing. Some towns and cities actually can't make ends meet, so you're going to find that the roads may not be repaired quite as quickly. Maybe some scheduled maintenance work will have to be put off for a little while. Maybe the classroom sizes in school. Let's talk about school for a second. School. When I went to school, in high school especially, and in junior high school, we had 30 to 40 kids in the classroom. And you're saying, Ron, where did you go to school? In New Delhi, India? No. No, I went to school in New Jersey. And there were a lot of kids in New Jersey. That's the suburb of New York. New Jersey is not a state. It's a suburb. And at Teaneck, New Jersey, to be exact. And we had at least 30 kids in every classroom. I don't know how many are in your classroom in your particular town, but I gather it's not 30 or more. That's what I went through. And I'll tell you something else. When your kids go to college, they're not going to be classes that are like 10, 15, 20 kids in it. They're going to be like 100 kids in that class. There's going to be 50 kids in that class. It'll be performed in an amphitheater. So if you want to really get them into their future, you got to put some more people in the classroom. There should be more pupils. Well, Ron, if you do that, my kid doesn't get that special attention that they need. Why does your kid need special attention? Shouldn't you be giving your kid special attention? In life, do you think your kid is going to get special attention? No. So why don't you set them up for life? There's still an education. If they want to learn, there's the teacher. Pay attention to the teacher. Doesn't matter if there's 10, 20, 30 kids in the classroom. So I say larger classroom sizes. I think that's fine. That's what I think. Sports. I'm all into physical education. A child should move their body. That's more of a problem now than ever has been before. That's a class that takes place inside the school day. Extracurricular sports, the ones that they go to after school, I think you should have to pay for that. Uh-oh, what did he say? I pay taxes and sports should be free. No, not really. They happen after school. It's an after-school activity. If your child is into it, pay a little fee for that, especially when your town is having financial problems. For a while, that's extra, and you should pay for that. Is it like a free school breakfast or something like that for kids that can't afford breakfast or get breakfast at home? No, that's different. That's different. We're talking about playing a sport. That's playing, not surviving. You don't have to play a sport to survive. If you want to play the sport for a while, you got to pay a fee for it. The one thing that any town or city should not do is raise taxes. Be creative, cut back, don't go for the extras for a little while, put your projects on hold a little bit, but don't raise taxes because nobody can afford this stuff anymore. You want to really hurt your community? Raise taxes because they won't go out and buy stuff anymore in your community. That's not a good idea. I think what I'm doing here is I'm doing a solitary school committee meeting. But I'm one person amongst many, many, many. I don't have kids in the school system anymore. I'm just telling you, this is what we did when I was younger. When towns had no money, they charged fees for the activity. And it was temporary, and it worked out. But just to raise property taxes and that kind of thing, no. You're hurting yourself when you do that. Because when you hurt the individuals, you're changing your environment and your atmosphere. In the meantime, cough up a little money so your kids can play soccer. Okay, now I've completely ruined anybody liking me at all. But I don't know, I'm just telling you how I feel. Yeah. You know, we all go through this attitude where, hey, I pay my taxes. I should be getting services for my taxes. Yeah, you should. Yeah, you should. But in these days of economic uncertainty, which has actually been self-created by a particular political situation. Doesn't have to be like this. But it is, and you got to cut back. I know that certain towns are celebrating their anniversaries of a number of centuries. That's wonderful. But there's ways to do that without spending a dime, and I think you've probably figured that out too, so that's good. You can raise money by having people go to things, do a little ballroom thing or something, or some type of a whatever night, and, people will pay for that. There are people that do have a lot of money, and there are those people who don't. So the ones that do, it's time to cough it up. But that's not done through taxes. Leave the taxes alone. Telling you right now. Okay. Last but not least, and least but not last, it is springtime, and it is time to deal with the lawn. Very similar to not knowing where this country is going financially right now. Same with, I don't know where this country is going with watering your lawn right now. It's been a number of years since we've been able to water our lawn. Watering your lawn is not an essential part of life. Many people spend a large amount of money keeping their lawns maintained because they want them to look good. But I'll tell you something, in the scheme of things, that's not the most important thing. Sure, it's good for the health of your lawn. I mean, I never thought that when I grew older I would have to be concerned about the health of my lawn. I'm concerned about my health, the health of my family, the health of my friends, quote unquote, the health of the general population. The health of my lawn, may be in the background, okay? I know that there have been water problems in various towns and cities where the quality of the water has not been up to par, basically because the standards have changed. Okay, whatever. Are we through that? I think we are. I felt for a while like I was in some type of police state by being told I can only water my lawn once a week. I thought that was horrible, but at the same time, I think I have better things to be upset about. So, I guess you got to choose your battles, right? There are so many battles to be had these days. Have you found that to be the case? Yeah, there are a lot of battles being held. Lastly, I wanted to comment on the Karen Reed situation. That poor girl. I don't know what side of the fence you're on as far as guilty or not guilty, but she, I mean, once you have a hung jury, then hang it up. I mean, don't just do it all over again. That to me is not. I'm not an attorney. Why in Rhode Island are all the attorneys slip and fall attorneys? What's that about? Why is every commercial on television in Rhode Island about a slip and fall law firm grabbing all the real good phone numbers? Yeah, what's this? Why do attorneys get phone numbers like 777-7777? Or you can call me at 1-444-444-444. Hey, did you slip and fall? Get money right now. 555-555-555-555. How did you get these numbers? What did you do? Did someone at the phone place slip and fall, and this was a financial arrangement? Look, all right, I'll do your case for free. You just give me this phone number. All right, fine. How did they get these phone numbers? I want one of those. I want a phone number like that. Rhode Island is all slip and fall attorneys. I don't think they have anything else there. I think it's just slip and fall. Every business is a slip and fall business. I'm out of time for today, and I know what you're saying. Thank God. I'll be back next week in this studio doing this again. But until that time arrives, thanks for being here. Thanks for putting up with me. I wish you peace.